Hey, what's up, my friends? It's a beautiful Sunday morning, and I thought it's really good. I seen one of the video from Sky's News Australia that just wanted to share with you guys and um, leave your opinion. Let's discuss on that.
China is engaged in a massive propaganda campaign to convince the world that it is not really responsible for COVID-19, the virus causing public health and economic chaos around the globe, but it is a model global citizen worthy of our trust and respect. Should we take them at their word? Well, according to Esquire magazine, in the past few weeks, China, while the Philippine government has been preoccupied with dealing with the pandemic, China has been busy building 2 new bases on reefs in the West Philippine Sea. A March 20 report by China's Xinhua news website says the Chinese Communist government has successfully established 2 new research facilities on Cagayangan Reef and Zamora Reef, both claimed by the Philippines. Indeed, in 2016, the Permanent Court of Arbitration ruled that China's reclamation activities in the West Philippine Sea were illegal. Didn't stop them. According to Xinhua, the newly established facilities form part of a network of scientific research bases. Quote, in the future, the Integrated Research Center for Islands and Reefs will focus on research into ocean acidification, microplastic pollution, they've learnt all the buzzwords, coral reef ecosystem conservation, and marine disaster treatment.
So, what do you think, guys? Is that there any propaganda going on in here, or it's just normal routine research facility they build up in last 2 weeks? Please leave your comments and feedback in below.
Of course they will. Nothing like putting a global pandemic crisis to good use for the Chinese army of the Chinese Communist Party. Or am I being unfair? In an article in The Australian, we learnt that when no European state answered Italy's urgent appeal for medical equipment and protective gear, China publicly committed to sending 1,000 ventilators, 2 million masks, 100,000 respirators, 20,000 protective suits, and 50,000 test kits. China has also dispatched 250,000 masks to Iran and sent supplies to Serbia, whose president proclaimed the only country that can help us is China. This, according to The Diplomat magazine, is what they call China's mask diplomacy.
Of course, what it's in here, it explains clearly that after the outbreak, they now are trying to cover their things by as humanitarian gesture. Another way to cover the epicenter and where actually this virus originated from or came from. It's another propaganda in here, guys. What do you think?
Shipping medical supplies to European countries, China is seeking to boost its image as a responsible global leader. But hang on. As we talked earlier, Kate McClymont reported this week, and we discussed it, that here in Australia, a Chinese company, the innocuous-sounding Greenland Group, on orders from Beijing, spent January and February rushing around our stores, buying up every spare medical supply they could lay their hands on and sending pallet loads back by private jet to China. Apparently, all employees of the Greenland Group, the majority of whom are Chinese, were asked to source whatever medical supplies they could, and this went on for weeks. The company even boasted they got their paws on 3 million protective masks, 700,000 hazmat suits, 500,000 pairs of protective gloves, all from Australia, Canada, Turkey and other countries.
There you go. So, what do you think on these guys? It's just sending out all the medical supplies back to China, and then now exporting all that stuff. Once this exporting all this stuff to different countries. If you look at this pan, as mentioned in here, that the most of the test kits, it's faulty kind of stuff. So I made one video yesterday. Just check out. It will explain you more in detail about sourcing out all Australian medical supplies and sending back over there. And what do you think, guys? Greenwood is kind of construction-based company, and I'm not sure why. Um, Nothing to do relation in medical supplies at all. So that explains a lot. And what do you think? Leave your comments below. Let's watch the video.
Okay, help me with this. So they're sending stuff to Italy, Serbia, and other countries with one hand, while they're busy grabbing all of our stuff with the other hand. As they say at the Wuhan wet markets, something smells a little crook here. Oh, and speaking of wet markets, the Chinese government is telling us that Wuhan, the epicenter of the crisis, famous for its live bat soup and other such delicacies, last week reported no new infections for the first time. Phew, what a relief. But should we believe them? Well, no, according to Professor Steve Hankey from the Department of Environmental Health at Johns Hopkins University, who tweeted his view that the reason there are 0 cases is because Chinese hospitals are refusing to treat new potential.
There you go. So that's a conspiracy in here that I would say trying to intentionally minimize or get the 0 case of potential COVID-19 cases. And now, as you know, everything is resuming back to normal, and all the mask supplies and all that stuff have been um, exporting to all the countries who is in need. But I have another question in my mind that is that the profit making from this kind of situation? What's the propaganda behind this? I will share with you another video which is explains really good on this. Let me bring up this video and let's watch.
The confirmed cases have crossed 5 lakh. The world's biggest cities are shut. Stock markets are in free fall. The Wuhan virus has triggered an unprecedented crisis in human history. The sheer scale of it is unnerving. One virus has disrupted the whole world. And this leads us to a question. Is the Wuhan virus the world's biggest intelligence failure? Did no one see it coming? Were these countries too complacent? By the time the world swung into action, the virus had already crossed most borders. And now everyone is playing catch up. Well, almost everyone. There is one country that seems to have an edge right now. The home country of the Wuhan virus, that is China. There is no doubt that China was hit for weeks, that Chinese people suffered. But now China says it has contained the threat. So it's closing down borders and opening up businesses. Fewer cases are being reported. Factories are up and running again. Businesses will take time to revive, but they have made a start. Companies are being encouraged to make coronavirus supplies. They're making equipment other countries might need to fight the outbreak. Gloves, masks, personal protection.
There you go, guys. So as you know, it's making all the protective equipments and medical supplies of COVID-19 relation. But I have question that it's really good market to make profit, as none of the other countries manufacturing in the scale of how the China is manufacturing, and it has competitive edge for sure. for next couple of months, I would say.
Equipment, even ventilators. So first China put the world in ICU, and now it is selling them ventilators.
There you go. So it's selling the ventilators and all that stuff, and I have doubt on that as well. As I'll bring this thing as well, where let me play from here.
Who's filling the gap? Chinese companies already at work to supply to the world. According to a report, almost 9,000 new manufacturers started producing masks in China this year. They began business in the first 2 months of 2020. China's daily mask production has crossed 116 million now. Many companies have overseas orders. They're selling outside China. One of the biggest companies is Dawn Polymer. This is a Chinese company. It supplies the fabrics used to make masks. Dawn Polymer has a 40% market share in China. And the value of its shares, the company's shares, has shot up by, listen to this, 417% since January. 417% in 3 months. The holdings of the company's founders now stand at a whopping $1.9 billion. The coronavirus crisis has only meant good news for their business.
There you go. So someone is making profit in here, guys, in this crisis situation. And please check out my video on more in detail about that as well. It's profit who is making profit from outbreak, and other thing just wanted to bring in
Like Apple and HP. Tesla's factory in China is back online too, reportedly with help from local authorities. Members of the Chinese government allegedly helped Tesla secure key supplies. The Chinese government is going the extra mile to make sure businesses resume operations. In Shanghai, most foreign businesses are back in action.
All foreign-funded enterprises have resumed operation, with an 80% employee return rate and a 70% business resumption rate. The overall situation is steadily improving.
So while it sounds crass to say that a company or a country profits from a pandemic, these are the bitter facts. China exported a virus to the world. Now the world is sick, and China is selling them the balm.
So what do you think, guys, on this? Is there any kind of propaganda going on in here, or is it just a normal exercise of humanitarian gesture from China? Please leave your comments and opinion below. And if you feel this video informative, please share with your friends, and please do subscribe for future video updates. Thank you.